Hello, and welcome to this first edition of Travel Trends, where we bring you the latest updates from the tourism world with a focus on Thailand, hotels, and travel experiences. I am David Barrett, and here's what's making headlines. Thailand's tourism sector is seeing a major rebound, with hotel bookings surpassing pre-COVID levels. According to Krungthai Compass, domestic travel has soared, with over 136 million trips made by Thai travellers in the first half of the year, a 21% increase from pre-pandemic numbers. Hotel occupancy rates have surged to 72.6% nationwide, with South Thailand leading the way thanks to its luxury resorts. The average daily rate for hotels has also risen, with prices expected to continue climbing in the coming years. Despite foreign arrivals not yet reaching 2019 levels, Thai tourism is on a path to strong recovery, projected to bring in a total of 15 billion baht by year end. Let's hear what Eric Brand, General Manager of Aroma Bangkok, has to say.
Phenomenal growth is perhaps an exaggerated term. Yes, we see growth after COVID, but I think if we measure the percentages and the figures, we have to realize that they start from a very low base. And of course, you can make any percentage look very good if you start from a near zero base. So I would just put a little bit of caution. We are growing. We have to grow steadily. We have to grow safely. And I think, yes, growth will be here, but let's not forget, it's all affected by external factors, wars, pandemics. So all these external factors do affect tourism and destination Thailand, which is a wonderful destination. But if the external factors don't help us, it's very difficult to forecast high figures. And it also depends from what level you start to calculate your percentages.
Thanks, Eric. Also in the news, an interesting hotel development. Langum Hospitality Group has announced plans to breathe new life into two historic Bangkok buildings, the old Customs House and the former post office in the city's Bang Rak district. The luxury hotel brand is set to open the Langum Bangkok in late 2026, combining heritage, conservation with modern elegance. This 6 billion baht, that's $180 million project, will cover 13,600 square metres and follows Langum's successful restoration works in cities like Boston and Venice. The new hotel is expected to be a cultural and economic highlight for Bangkok, drawing tourists and boosting the local economy. Also in the news, Thailand's hotels have just earned a new level of recognition in the luxury travel world. The Michelin Guide has introduced its key distinctions for hotels, awarding 58 top accommodations across the country with 1, 2 and 3 key ratings. This marks a significant moment for Thailand's hospitality industry, highlighting the finest hotels for their exceptional service, design and guest experiences. From beachfront resorts to urban retreats and mountain getaways, these prestigious awards place Thailand firmly on the global luxury map. Meanwhile, for more tourism news, let's go over to Imtiaz Mukbil of Travel Impact Newswire for his candid, thoughtful and no-holds-barred take on the latest developments in Thailand's tourism landscape. Over to you, Imtiaz.
Thank you, David. UN Tourism, formerly known as the UN World Tourism Organization, celebrated World Tourism Day on the 27th of September. This year's theme was Peace and Tourism. It wasn't just UN Tourism marking the occasion. 3 other major travel industry organizations, the World Travel and Tourism Council, the Pacific Asia Travel Association, and SCOL International, also echoed this theme in their messages. For the first time, the connection between peace and tourism was highlighted by such influential leaders in the travel industry. But it's worth asking, Why did it take so long? The first 24 years of this century have been marked by conflicts, violence, and wars, leading to a slow and steady deterioration of global peace. Nearly every one of these events has impacted travel destinations, communities, and entire regions. The travel and tourism industry has paid the price, whether through higher safety costs, increased visa restrictions, and many other security measures. At the same time, we hear the tourism industry proudly proclaiming its return to pre-COVID levels. This is often held up as a sign of the industry's resilience, suggesting that the public's desire to travel remains strong regardless of the challenges. But here's the problem. When that argument takes hold, the desire to address deeper underlying issues starts to fade. Complacency makes a comeback. This kind of thinking isn't new. In the 1980s, a similar argument was used to delay action on the looming environmental threats. Fossil fuels used by cars, buses, trucks, cruise ships, and aircraft were the norm. The technology for solar and wind power, as well as natural gas, existed, but it was not widely adopted because it was seen as being more expensive. So, fossil fuels remained dominant. Efforts to curb their use were weak and half-hearted, and today we are living with the consequences of that inaction, devastating environmental impacts that we are now racing to mitigate. The same thing could happen with the tourism and peace agenda. For decades, wars, violence, and social conflicts have been simmering in the background, affecting specific destinations while the rest of the world continued with business as usual. But now, all of those conflicts are rising to the surface. Tourism leaders have finally realized that it is no longer a risk, but a very tangible and real threat. They are now trying to address it through the tourism and peace agenda. But is it too little, too late? Floods, high-intensity hurricanes, and droughts are wreaking havoc worldwide. At the same time, wars, conflicts, and violence continue to spread. These two global crises, climate change and geopolitical conflict, are what I have termed the two global warmings. Both are man-made and both are now inseparable. Recognizing that reality will be the first step towards dealing with them. The days of sweeping them under the carpet are well and truly over. I'm Imtiaz Muqbil, and this is your Travel News Update.
Thanks, Imtiaz, for your travel impact update. And thank you for watching Travel Trends. See you next episode, and keep travelling.